it's another Monday and we're here on Airfix and Chill. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well in the chat. We have lots of people in the chat tonight already. Not really much to say, really, apart from welcome all and those who are actually in Airfix and Chill on the live stream. We'll jump over to John. Alec, hello, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I hope everybody's doing good, too.
Brilliant. So what's on your workbench tonight?
I haven't quite decided yet. I'm going to get something on it here pretty soon. I was just kind of getting myself set up just a few minutes before we started. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
I got an email today saying that Royal Mail might be allowing us to send stuff over to the States now. So hopefully you'll be able to update your
finally.
That's been a long time. It must have been just after Christmas. It must be a hell of a hack or something to have knocked down the system that much. But I got an email saying today, business email from Royal Mail saying that they will be allowing paper to go through the system. So I'm going to hopefully get to the post office tomorrow and get those stickers sent out to you so you can update your little montage there of creators. Some really good stickers there, really good. So moving on to Rorex. Rorex, what have you got on your workbench? I can see a Bolt and Pour Defiant.
Yes, and the Blenheim, and I got Mustang that needs some decals, and I'm working on a Stuka as well.
Ooh. Ah, fantastic!
And some other stuff, but I'm working on 190 Focke-Wulf 190 and a small World War I Hansa Brandenburg.
Ooh. You've always got quite a few on the go, haven't you? I'm terrible. I need to start doing that. I've only got one on the go at the moment, that Jeep, which is on my bench now. And do you know when you glue something, and so for instance, I had the steering wheel, and I glued it in both cement in position. It looked perfect. And then when I came down the next night in the morning, the steering wheel had fallen forward slightly and it stuck in position. I've had to break it off to reset it into the right position. That annoyed me a little bit.
Well,
so
you
I
see,
do that on mine.
That's the carpet monster trying to lure the piece towards it. You see, that's what it is.
It's got to be something, isn't it? It's got to be something. Right, moving over to you, Lexi. I presume that's a Bolt and Pour Defiant as well on there. There it is. That's good. That's good. So was that just is that when you purchased at Bovington?
No. This was just one I bought off Airfix directly when I was buying a couple of the Hawks on there. But I don't even remember what I bought at Bovington. It's downstairs in a bag still, so clearly I've been straight onto them. But no,
I bought those little kits that I showed last week, but also I bought some other stuff. I'll show you in a minute. Some Airfix stuff. Like I said, if it's got Airfix on it, I'll buy it. I'll show you all in a minute. So then, Matt, Captain VFC, what's on your workbench tonight?
Well, I'm trying to get the finishing touches to the Revell Hawker Hunter. Even though it's not actually that bad a kit, it's one of those that I've just lost all enthusiasm for. So it's taken a while to get to this stage. It's nearly done, and I'll like it when it's done. Also, if I need a second, I've got the Spitfire, the Airfix.
It's actually come out quite well, that spray. Was that done for an airbrush as well, was it?
Yes, it's not the best paint for an airbrush, actually, but it's not too bad.
What did you use?
Oh, it was the Hataka, the stuff for brush painting.
Yeah.
Just thinned down. And promise to not get too excited.
Oh, don't do it to me. Oh, I've got a tripod.
There is
That's good.
Some finishing touches to the Bearcat will be happening as well.
Lovely. It is a lovely bag. Come on. It just needs retooling properly, doesn't it? With some decent detail.
Oh, we're off early on the Bearcat. That was my fault.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So everyone take a swig now. Take a swig now. Fenris Models. Hello, my friend. What are you building?
I am working on the
somewhere there's something.
I have the lid upside down with all of the things, so but yeah, the 148.
Oh, the bubble top.
Yeah.
That's a good kit, isn't it? That's lovely to put
148.
together, isn't it?
Very
yeah.
nice.
I've never heard of that. Tamiya? Are they some sort of new company or something?
Tamiya. Call my cat Tamiya.
They're like a knockoff Airfix, really.
They are,
Yeah, I think so.
basically, yeah. They're that Chinese copy. And back, I can see he's just popped in just behind everybody, like just nips in. Back from His Majesty's Secret Service, we've got Matt, Model Minutes. Hello, my friend. And he's quiet. Is your microphone plugged in, Matt? Is he gone shy?
He's not actually there, so Mirage.
He's not there. It's just the logo tonight. Earth calling, Model Minutes. Come in, Model Minutes. He's there talking. Oh, hang on. Are you in?
I'm here.
Hey!
You're very quiet. You're very quiet.
How about now?
That's better.
That's
How are
better.
you, my friend?
Yeah, all right. It turns out that I don't know how to click one button on the settings, so that's why you couldn't hear me. I'm just sitting here like, "Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here." And you're like, "Oh, yeah," and I'm like, "These guys are joking with me because this happens every week."
Yeah, definitely. You should be in my position when they're talking to you and I'm getting no response. I'm thinking, have I upset him? You know what I mean? Have I said something?
You don't suffer any differently than my wife does, to be fair. So, because she's talking to me, she's not getting anything back. The irony, of course,
brilliant.
she says I don't listen, but I had a hearing test a couple of months ago and it came back really well. So,
Pardon?
Hey,
Yeah. What do you say?
I don't know.
My late grandfather had hearing aids in, and he would turn the hearing aids off.
Don't blame him.
Quite simply.
Saves on the batteries, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So, what have you got on your workbench then, Matt? Anything special?
No, I'm kind of in between builds at the moment. I've still technically got the M3 Stuart from Airfix in 1/35th scale to do.
Wow.
But that's like at the hull. I'm currently on the hull for that.
Yeah.
But because I'm just so busy, I just don't have time to do anything at the moment. I've been working on some editing recently to get some more videos out. But one thing that I did really enjoy doing recently was getting my Hornby TT trains out on the tabletop and running them round for the first time. So that was good fun.
Nice.
Wow. You know, I get the impression that your experience of the TT120 is like our experience of the Hornby Model World show.
I'm behind on that.
We've been watching 6 episodes before we even touch Airfix. Honestly, it's I am slightly disappointed in that show. I think there's a lot of people who are disappointed. It is just one big train wreck of a show,
and they haven't they haven't even managed to cover how they made the TT circles not make a full circle.
Yeah, that's bizarre. That
really.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you get the track,
divided by 12,
and I noticed it when I laid my track out. It's got this weird camber that goes in one direction, so as the train goes over it sort of twists. But I think now other people have pointed out that it's linked to the fact that when you put the track down in a circle, if you get everything to line up correctly, it actually overlaps. It's ever so slightly too long. Every single piece of track needs to be shorter than needs to be about 5 millimeters shorter, so that you end
joking.
up. No, I'm serious. It's about
this is a
3
company.
centimeters too long.
This is a company that have been making track for half a century.
Oh my
Probably more.
word.
And they failed to divide 360 by 12.
I know, yeah.
You,
And then they
this
And then they sell you track impacts of curve impacts of 10 anyway. What are they doing?
So I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna shamelessly plug my video, and I'm gonna drop it into the
it is well worth a watch, and you get to see a sexy steam engine go running around on a table.
Take a look at that.
It's not to like.
And you'll be able to see some of the issues that I discovered when I was running it. And for a £215 model train set, I mean, I like trains. I like trains like so much. I would buy all of them if I had all the money in the world. But for 215 quid, I found that this set doesn't quite hit the mark with the issues that I discovered. And obviously, other people have discovered issues with it as well. So, I mean, yeah, new product ranges are going to have teething problems, but, you know, Hornby haven't just started making trains today, have they? They've been making trains like 60, 70, 80, or like 100 years or something. So, the fact that they missed out some pretty... What I didn't like in my video, actually, was the fact that the truck at the back on the 462, so the last two, is fixed. And I've had N-gauge locomotives where it's not fixed and it pivots and it follows the track, whereas Hornby have gone for this realistic look. But what you end up getting on these train set curves is that back wheel just is not on the track. It's sticking right out. So
it's a choice that they made for... The choice they made for 00 years ago. They thought it would be the best option, but since then, this is like 15, 20 years ago that they did that. Since then, other companies have just done it better, and they've just refused.
Yeah.
So
I would quite happily sacrifice some looks and accuracy on a small model, because it's not much bigger than N-gauge. It is bigger, but not by much. It's 2.54 millimeters to the foot, whereas N-gauge is 2 millimeters to the foot. But I would sacrifice some detail and some realism for functionality every day of the week. If that train doesn't run properly and it doesn't look the part, then it doesn't matter how good it looks, because you haven't got something that you can run on your train set. However, it was interesting that I did actually get it to run around first radius curves, so definitely worth taking a look at the video, because I don't think anyone else has done that yet.
It is appalling, you know,
pushing the boundaries.
It is, yeah. You know, it's TT120. Is it with TT121? Like, you know what I mean? It's should it be TT101? Just shove it in room 101 and just forget about it. You know, it's.
Well, I quite like the scale. I like the way that it looks. I like that it's a fairly simple scale, in the sense that it was like 1 inch to 10 feet or something, and the fact that it's gauge accurate makes sense to me. I know a lot of people were kicking off about it going on top of the 3mm guys, but I've spoken to people about the 3mm Society, and they've only got about 600 people in the UK who are a member. So if I'm honest, Hornby haven't exactly screwed anyone over, because that wasn't a market to start with. And the benefit there is that by doing TT120, it's gauge accurate. The below gauge is not gauge accurate because it's 2 millimeters too narrow. N gauge in the UK is not gauge accurate because it's 0.5 of a millimeter out. And TT or 3 millimeter scale in the UK, again, was about 1.5 to 2 millimeters inaccurate. So a lot of people are going, well, it should have been 3 millimeters to the foot, but it's like, but why bother when the market was so small and they had the opportunity to make it right? The only reason people are stuck on this 3 millimeter to the foot, but on 12 millimeter gauge track, was because Triang, back in the 60s when they introduced it, couldn't physically fit it in the motors inside the bodies of their trains. So they went, well, let's just make it a bit bigger and screw the scale effectively. And then because people can't handle change, they've gone, well, it should be the same. But there wasn't anyone buying that anyway. So, you know, I think Hornby have made the right decision in doing TT to that scale. But again, that asks the question, why not just go straight for N-gauge or another one that's well established? I guess it's just time to tell.
I'm getting the impression that they actually looked at, basically when I watched the announcement, you know, when Simon was talking to his keyboard warriors, he was basically
he said that, didn't he?
Yeah, basically he was saying that, you know, there comes a point where we can't make anything more because everything's already been done.
It's not true.
So now they're thinking of doing the TT120, and that means basically now they're going down that route, aren't they? They're able to start producing trains in a brand new gauge. Well, it's not brand new; it's been done before, and I understand that. I also think they had to go bigger slightly than N-gauge, because I still don't think things like decoders and stuff are just too big to fit into N-gauge. You've got a bit more space to put more bone under the skin, if you know what I mean, on these trains. Personally, I looked at it, thought about it, had a crap, and then decided not to buy it. Do you know what I mean? I was that well, but I was tempted on it. I remember growing up with a friend who had a bunk bed, and under his bunk bed he had Engage on an 8x4 board under his bed. So he had a bunk bed basically. So he had a frame. On top was his bed. Underneath was this Engage track that he used to bugger about with. And to be fair, he got it running really well. He had 3 tracks going around at one point, like, you know. But the TT120, I'd be interested because every time I speak to people about railways and I say to them, well, what track do you use? They always say Pico, don't they? Nobody seems to use Hornby track.
Pico is superior, to be fair.
It is superior, is it?
It is superior.
So why don't they develop a superior track then to go with? It's almost like, you know, yeah.
I think it's a losing market. If they made a better track, yes, people in with Hornby train sets would benefit from it, but still, all the serious modelers will be buying Pico anyway. There's no reason to not buy Pico.
Okay.
Not only that, but if you look at the way that Hornby work, I think their product is they focus a lot of their R&D and a lot of their money and their research and all of that onto the locomotives. The locomotives are their mainstays. Then it's the wagons and the coaches. Then it's the accessories that go around the outside. The track is like, yeah, they've got to provide a track, but it's not the highest quality. It's like an afterthought. Their controllers, if you look at my video, I show the controller in that, but it's one of their cheap, tatty, plasticky controllers. It doesn't weigh anything. It doesn't look particularly good, and it's got this horrible feature where you have to take the controller all the way down to 0 before it will let you. This literally before it will let you change the direction. Like I've got other controllers where it's just one dial, and if you want it to go right, you turn it to the right, and if you want it to go left, you turn it to the left, or you just flick a switch and it goes in the opposite direction. But on theirs, you have to go all the way down to 0, then flick it across because there's a latch inside of it. And people, I think, in the past have found that these latches break and then they can't control their locomotives. So their controllers are cheap. The track is cheap. And they focus primarily on their locomotives and rolling stock as their mainstays. So that's primarily why I think Pico have done so well, is because they go, well, do you know what? If Hornby are going to produce a cheap track system, we'll produce a premium track system, but not for much more money. And if you take a look at my video, the little display thing that I put my trains on, that uses Pico Code 55 track, and it looks so much better than the Code 80 that Hornby have done. And Hornby haven't even done the spacings accurately on the sleepers for the scale. They say it's to standard NEM international standards, but it's not UK standard, as in it doesn't look right for the UK sleeper spacings, whereas Pico have done that. So if I were to build a model railway using TT120, it would be Pico track all day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So if you can go, I'll put it on the screen now. There's Model Minutes' link if you want to watch that after that. That would be good. Just want to quickly thank those who joined us. We've got Jeff72, we've got Jared. Thank you, Crazy Locker, again for another super chat, $20. Thank you so much for that. Wayne's Welly's here, Dan Usher, Erwin's in, to boldly go. Miss Modeler's got a shelf monster, LOL. She's got a shelf monster there, apparently. Going down through, we've got David JM, a regular here on the chat. Thank you very much. Right, standard track for British Rail, apparently. So that sounds about right. Brian Windmill, there's loads of you in there. Jeff Light's in. Just going down through. Hobby Barn, nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Dominique Cuckoo, I think that's how you say it. I watched your video, left you a comment, mate. Cracking, mate. Good luck with those models that you're going to be building. I'm just going down through. Whole 247 models is there. iTechman, good. I've yet to make it to fight in all these years. Yeah, get out and build one, mate. You'll enjoy it. And that's a good kit as well. You know, we all like that kit. And then Crazy Lockers just said, great perspective at Model Minute. So, yeah, I get that. That's the Model Minutes video where they sell curved track in 10 pack where you need 12 to make a circle. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my
so
word.
the boxes of track for a curve, they come in 10s. And if you want a circle of track, you need 12. So you need to buy 1 box and 2 extra pieces. The thing is, though, there is a plastic sleeve on the inside which holds the track in place. If they had made that plastic sleeve ever so slightly thinner, you could have got 12 in that box.
Oh, you are joking.
It's a classic case of just not thinking about it. I don't think they've maliciously made only 10 in the box. They've just thought, we'll just send them in packs of 10.
They have. It's a Games Workshop model of doing things. You sell deliberately not quite enough. It's the same as in like most video games. If you have a premium currency, it always sells you slightly less than you need or slightly more than you need to encourage you to spend more. I think that's what it is, because if they sell 10, then you're like, I'll just buy 10 packs and I've got more if I need it. And then eventually you'll be like, I need a couple more. So you buy another pack of 10.
You actually don't need 12 to make a circle. You actually only need 11.9.
Yeah, that's true. In fairness, though, you can buy individual track pieces from the Hornby website at the moment. So if you only wanted 2 bits, you could buy 2 bits. But they'll come to you just wrapped in bubble wrap.
And you shouldn't have to.
We were talking about this. We're going to go on to the actual discussion of the show in a minute. But you know what? It's like everything. Is the train side pushed harder or given more preferential treatment in the Hornby Hobbies umbrella of brands inside it? You know, the amount of money that must have been pushed out to do another scale of TT120 or another range. And then you've got Airfix, who are moving in leaps and bounds into cracking kits, easy kits, starter sets, pushing themselves into some fun. That Gannet with the Z wing. They're pushing on with what they've got, and then you've got Hornby, the train side of it, almost taking all the glory of that company. When really, you're watching the show with every single week as a different train. Now, they've mentioned, I think it was 5 different trains that they've developed in this show so far. Okay. I can reckon there must be 13 new kits that Airfix have released in the last 2 years. Do you see what I mean? They seem to be focusing on the trains on this model show, and it's really so disingenuous that they've done it that way. There's so much more that could be shown from Hornby, but they've just been looking at the trains all the time, and I'm actually starting to get really bored.
You might not want to watch today's episode.
Is it trains as well?
Yes, it's the 9F. So another train.
So what? It's really sad. Well, I remember when James May did his 2-episode show, and it was basically a 50-50 split between Airfix and trains. You know what I mean? And this time, I just think that this show is so pushed in on the trains that I'm getting really bored of it. And we had a little glimmer of what Airfix are doing. I think they were, was it Riyadh? I think they were filming. I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was delightful to see what they're doing. You don't see Hornby, doing this sort of stuff. I think they're getting it sorted myself. I think they're finding themselves in the right position. And like I said, give it 5 years. I reckon Airfix will be a better money maker than Hornby are, the trains. So I don't know. It just makes it so sad.
That does tend to happen though when most of your customer base dies off.
Yeah,
which is the reality for Hornby.
Hornby have also had. They will use this to advertise their inabilities. They have actually had some decent competition out there, but I don't think the market is necessarily getting smaller because everyone's pricing things quite high these days. It's not a cheap hobby, but if you could go out and spend the same amount of money on another brand's thing, then a lot of people will now do that. And it's not because there are too many brands, there's too much competition. It's not. It's because people would rather, like me, put money into something they know they're going to get a good product over, rather than will the motor break? Will I have to send it back? Am I wasting an overpriced amount of money? So I just don't trust Hornby until I've actually seen a product for a couple of years. By then it's sold out and I don't care and I've forgotten about it.
Yeah,
brutal.
it is. It is. You know, I put a tweet up, didn't I? I did a rant last week saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Who is the editors of this show?" It's so sad, and I think they come to a point now where if they came back to Airfix and say we want to do a show with you, I think Airfix, the guys, they'll just say, "Nah, bugger off. We don't want to know you." You know. I've got a feeling that they haven't enjoyed this experience of being filmed, which is a shame. And I'm still livid the fact that Spitfire was not even mentioned in their top 10 of models. I am. I like, who writes this shit up?
Well, I think they established, obviously, what are the big brands? You've got Hornby, Airfix, and Scale Electric. So they divided that up, and then they put Simon Kohler in. And so they put him as a separate brand and gave him priority. So you've got to have at least 40 minutes of Simon Kohler an episode.
Yeah.
It does feel like that. It is a bit ridiculous.
It 100% does.
Stop watching it. It's all trains, boring. That's hobby time, that is saying that. Yeah, I just think that, and I think, honestly, and no disrespect here, I think there'll be some Scale Electric nuts who are going to be saying the same as us Airfix guys. Finally we're getting something about the Airfix, about their Scale Electric track. It's
so there's not been much in the way of Airfix related stuff.
No.
Nope.
Very little.
Yeah, that might be my fault. Sorry.
I just, when you've got Jenny there kicking her
kicking
upstairs,
a
downstairs track, she kicked it apart and put new in. Do you know what I mean? It just gets me. It really does. That Airfix. Do you know, if I had 30 million quid,
just kicking about,
of just cash kicking around,
I would retire and
I would buy Airfix. I would buy Airfix and just give them a few million and say, go on, you win it. You win this battle with all the other manufacturers, and you just keep doing what you're doing because you're getting there.
But
I really do believe that.
They'd have to make you a bearcat.
They have to make me a bearcat, yeah. That's it, yeah.
And that would
be
a
good trade-off.
Yeah, I think so.
But if anyone does win, 30 million and just wants someone who'll just provide them personal sarcasm, I'm here.
Well, this is it, yeah, I'm up for that, But I said, you count how many minutes Airfix were on last week. I think it was about 8 minutes, wasn't it?
Something like that. That was the Airfix episode as well.
Yeah, 8 minutes. I'm sure it was 8 minutes.
They've got 2.
And to be fair, none of it was really about the model development. It was more about what's happening. What, bless her. And I chatted to Sally afterwards, and I said, "Oh, you're on that show," and she was loving it. She was too heavy-handed for the models, so they chucked her off with the kids, didn't they? So she could be heavy-handed with the kids, you know what I mean? The way it came across. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They won't let me touch the models because I'm too heavy-handed. So. But I'm absolutely. I think it's just a shit show now. I'm watching it just because I feel that I have to. But we watched it all last week, didn't we? And it was, and they had Pramagit with the Buccaneer, wasn't it? And there was nothing there at all. Really, I wanted to see more of what he was doing and more about Luke talking about the. His part in his research and his scanning, and I think Luke is an integral part of getting the kits right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, honestly, having that critical review must be so helpful. An external person that's looked it all up a little, because when you study something in so much depth, because I tend to do this with models, I've got a book on the Hunter, so I've been flicking through that whilst making this, understanding it a bit more. So when you get so focused on something, to then go to someone else and have them go, well, actually, I read the following things, can you change this? So helpful rather than just tunnel visioning on your project.
You mean like Sully does for all of us?
I think, listen, Luke is the Brit Modeler poster but before they release the kit. Do you know what I mean? You know, Luke is the rivet counter, and that's what you need. You know, and you're going to see people now. They're going to say, Airfix have released this kit, and they're going to say this is a little bit wrong, but it's a little bit different. And then you're going to get the likes of Tamiya or Hasegawa or somebody releasing a plane, and it's going to be wrecked to bits. They're going to start thinking, well, the accuracy of Airfix is there now when Tamiya's down here or Hasegawa's down here. They've already started with their lightning, haven't they? People are complaining about the Tamiya's lightning, that it isn't quite right. So not lightning. It was a lightning, wasn't it? No, sorry, the F30. It's the A, isn't it? Not the B, isn't it? That's right.
F35 still lightning. It's all good.
Yeah, mine is the 35A, not B, isn't it? They did the A version, not the B version, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the B version is a Tallery, isn't it?
I think so.
And that apparently that's all right. So it's interesting. Just going into the chat. This is quite interesting. I think the show is scripted and recorded just too early for that. And of course, they split the time according to which brand needs the most attention. What do you think on that? Go on.
I do think Hornby need the most attention. Yeah, definitely.
But they're not showing the attention of all the new stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just too late in the day for them to record all that.
They've just got the loudest person screaming that they want the attention.
Is that what you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
if you don't film us, everything will die. We'll get all the keyboard warriors saying we're a Hornby.
Yeah, he should never have said that. No, it's
Simon is quick to blame something or somebody for their shortcomings rather than accepting that they might have messed up.
What was that? A man blaming everyone except himself. Oh wow, I'm so shocked. Wow.
Right, so I have an item just on my desk which kind of highlights why, at the moment at least, I'm a bit done with Hornby. I do still buy some of their stuff, but this was 120 quid from Rapido, who are a new manufacturer.
Pardon?
A new manufacturer, Rapido. Well,
Rapido.
Rapido.
That's an unfortunate name, isn't it?
It's Rapido UK.
It's unfortunate.
It is a little bit unfortunate. It has a glowing firebox in it as well. Even better, 120 quid. And they made a mistake, or a potential mistake, with the digital one. So they held them back and they said, we're really sorry. We need to check them. We think there might be a mistake with them. And then they released them for sale. And they were open. They were honest about everything that they've done with the design process. And in the end, they've got a pretty decent model. Not perfect, but very, very nice. And not bad at 120 quid.
Yeah.
So, fuck you, Hornby.
What was that? You want a sponsorship from Hornby? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
There is a model which they have released, but it is my favourite. And if they did it in the colour that I want, I would immediately be saying, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
And then you'd get it and be like, oh.
No, I've already got four of them. I know what it would be like.
Oh.
See that just going to go. Roachfort has just said something absolutely brilliant about, in that show. They should cover the process of the vintage classics coming back. That would have been perfect because, do you know what? The reason why the bomb bug really got me quite emotional, because I've never built one, and there has been times in the past 2 or 3 years I've looked at buying a bomb bug off eBay at the £300 ticket market it's at, because we all believed and were all told that the tooling was lost. I'm going to get Luke on Airfix and Chill on here soon. I'm going to ask him to come on and tell us how they found that bond bug. I would love to know where it was, what happened, why, because it's was it 40 years? 50 years, I should say, that it was last released.
76?
74.
74. That's close.
74, wasn't it?
Fucking hell.
That was, we all thought, because the other ones, the Townsend boat's missing, the ferry, that one's missing as well, lost to the years of time. I'd love to know why, how they got them back. Because, there's, as soon as they say, and I reckon because the tooling's only been used twice, on 2 releases, it must be pucker. I can't imagine it being that worn.
Unless it's just bad tooling. It could have been, but I wouldn't have thought so.
If you look at people who have built them, they said that there wasn't a lot of flash on them back in them days.
I might have to buy one just for the views.
Yeah, but anyways, Alt 92 says Hornby on broken trains. You're holding it wrong.
It really is like that. Honestly, their PR is just abysmal.
Yeah, that's the one that's missing. Herald of Free Enterprise.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
You mean
the
lack of PR?
that is another kit that we've never seen. So, but yeah, as I said, it's interesting to see how this program develops as we move forward. There's going to be another episode, but it has just been a complete trains, more trains, and more trains, hasn't it? Nothing else really. Mind you, I will confess, I love watching the Posha stuff. Is it Posha?
That was interesting.
That was really interesting because that to me is like D'Agostini but on steroids. Because the D'Agostini over the 2 years will cost you about £700 or £800. But I spoke to Dale about it and I said, and he goes, there's not much social media and not much pushing or advertising the Posha because it pretty much, as soon as they say they've got this kit, it sells out. People just buy them and that's it, done. They're like limited edition things. So they must make a hell of a lot of money, with that one time launch. They basically sell out. That's how good Posha is. So, but Wayne he said, when I did trains, I bought Bachmann or Graham Farish, depending on the gauge. I modelled it at the time. Yeah. It's right. Anyway, the question of the night is scale. We're talking about the perfect scale. And the reason I got this was because, I understand. Is there now sort of like an unwritten code now where if we're going to build armor, we're looking at 1/35 scale. If we're building a plane, we're looking at 172, 148. If we're building a mega ship, it's 1:200 scale. And if we're going to be building a commercial airline plane, it'd be a 144 scale. Does anybody kind of agree with that, or do you feel that there are other factors involved when you choose your model on that scale? I'll start with Matt at Model Minutes. What's your thoughts on that? Because you're a 172 guy like I am, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the time it comes down to what scales they're making stuff in. Like, why do we prefer 1/72 and 148 over something like 1/56, for example? Is it purely because companies have been making them in that scale because they fit inside the box, or because someone else was doing it and now they can sell stuff to match it, or there's stuff that complements it in other ranges? Like, I feel that the only reason we go for 1/72 is because other people do it. It's a popular scale. I think a lot of it comes down to how long it's been established. It sort of swings back to that thing about the 3mm scale. The people who've been doing it for 50 years going on about why 120 isn't their scale now, and they feel upset. But it comes down to legacy, I suppose. I'm quite enjoying 148 at the moment, actually.
You said that because one of your builds was a 148, wasn't it?
Done a Tomahawk in 148 scale.
Oh,
I'm quite enjoying that. I've changed. I think that the bigger the scale, the potentially it's easier to learn new techniques and things. But 1/72 is probably my first love. But that was, again, because the first kit I bought was 1/72 scale.
Yeah.
If I went to trains, for example, the first train set I ever had was N gauge. So do we perhaps stick with something because it was the first thing we did? I don't know. I mean, it's not perfect.
No, it's not. But then again, it's like people talk about the 1/100 scale. They reckon that's a really good scale if you want something of a mojo build. The 1/100 scale. Apparently, the Tamiya English Electric Lightning in 1/100 scale is a bloody good one to build.
I've got that. I've got an unboxing on that coming out soon.
Have you? So have I.
Spoilers.
I only bought it because of you.
I do like a lightning. You could do that for your lightning badge. I'll send you
That
a
was the
patch.
plan. I give you a shout out in that video.
Oh, you're gorgeous. You are. Thank you very
You know
much.
The
Yeah,
joke.
definitely. When it comes to armor, 135, and I think that's because tanks are basically the size of cars, really, aren't they? Just with a bit more metal welded
Big
to them.
cars.
Yeah, but
Big
also
guns.
with 135, it's weird that the planes are 132, isn't it?
I think that matches. Is it O gauge or something? Because
No,
there's
that's
other
142nd.
There's other something else which is 132, isn't it? Is it Scaletric? Oh, I don't know. It's so complicated scale. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, isn't 132 like halfway point between 24 and 48?
Yeah. But why was it chosen over doing everything? Like, why don't you do tanks in 132nd?
Because micro Scaletric is 164, isn't it?
It is.
So
It is, yeah.
So why didn't they do that in 176 or 172 to match, the model trains?
Bold to assume there was a plan and it wasn't just done randomly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like those old ship kits which were box scale, weren't they? Just as long as it fit in the box, and you were fine.
Yeah.
Or the is it Matchbox Rotodyne, which is indicative of that period, and their tri-motor and weird stuff like that, 186th or random stuff like that.
I think the Mirage I've got, the Academy Mirage, is billed as 148, but it's actually 150 something.
Is it? Right, fair enough. Just saying, Owen O'Neill says 193 people died on the Herald of Free Enterprise. Sorry, mate, no, that was the replacement ship. The original Herald, it's a different ship, mate. They retired the original Herald of Free Enterprise and they built another one. It's the original one that they had lost the tooling for. So just to clarify that, I understand what you're saying, because they didn't put the nose down, or the bow, or whatever it was, down properly. That's why it sank. But yeah, it's a different boat altogether, I believe. I think there was two versions, and the one that Airfix brought out was the original one that was going from Dover. This one was the one that sank was like the replacement, like 25 years after the event. So it's not that one. Yeah, just looking, a lot of people who are kind of agreeing with that for military it's 1/35th scale, and then 132, 124 for aircraft, and some people like the 124th, 125th cars. When there was a bit of a stumble, wasn't there, when people were wondering why Airfix brought out the starter set cars in 148. But to be fair, they look very good for that scale, and they're not that difficult to put together, which is the point of it, isn't it? Slot cars are 132, which is why I thought that Airfix might have released new cars in 132 that you could buy like a kit for them to make them available to run on Scaletrics, but that's never happened, does it? Never happened. Airfix Hella had an old airliner scale of 1:125, but there must be a reason why they stopped. There's basically 5 scales, isn't there, in scale modeling? I gather, is that right? There's only 5 scales: 1 to 144, 172, 148, 135, and 124. That's the 5, isn't it? That most brands seem to keep within that bubble. What are motorbikes? Motorbikes are 112, aren't they? Most of them.
A motorbike is like a car, but it's got 2 wheels.
Yeah,
I
literally thought you were asking
Be a
that. Then.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, honestly, blame Tamiya for the 135 stuff. They started it. That's interesting. That is interesting. But you're probably right, Moz. It's all about public perception. Yeah, I get that, mate. I get that. And you'll still find some older 175th scale aircraft as well.
I feel
so
that
maybe,
at least some manufacturers have got to consider the aftermarket market as well. Getting a decal set for a P51 is fine, but if you're the bastard that releases a P51 in 1/78th or something, you've just lost out on all of that.
I get that. But see, Airfix are pushing. See, I'm getting the impression, going by what Airfix have released over the past few years, they had a 5-year cycle of starter sets. So the last 3 years, they've done the starter sets, haven't they? They've done the Spitfire and the Red Arrow. They've done the supercars. And now there's their 3rd year. They've just developed the Land Rover. And what else did they do? Land Rover and... What else was it? Oh, the Lightning is now a starter set. They've done the tanks. So are we coming to the end of the 5-year cycle of starter sets? So we won't see any new releases of starter sets. But we're starting to see with the release of the KT and the couple of tanks that were originally Academy but reboxed as Airfix. And with the Scout coming, is this the start of the 5-year cycle of 135th armor to try and get the armor side of things up to scale for Airfix?
Good question.
Anyone agree with that?
No idea.
I don't know Airfix well enough to really know. I would hope that they just constantly continue starter kits for everything.
It would make more sense. I know that they have done quite well with starter sets, but it would make sense that they're always enhancing their main range and trying to enhance the 35th range and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
On your point on armor, I generally build 72nd everything except, to be fair, with armor. Not that I have much of it. I do prefer 35th, but it is nice to sometimes see 72nd vehicles just to compare them with like size wise with the planes. So here is these are both Academy, Kugelwagen and a Kettenkrad. This isn't a scale that I think I could do too much in. That is that's a bottle of extra thin and it just sort of sits on the on the lid.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
See, I do 72nd mainly because I don't have space to do anything bigger. I started on 148th was my first ever kit, and I've always done 72nd since then, and it is literally because of space. If I had a bigger house and I had somewhere where I could actually store stuff, I'd have no issue buying way more 148th scale kits. But I don't, because I don't even have room for the 172nd scale ones I've got, and I feel really pointless buying stuff to throw it away. And it feels really wasteful. So I just stick to 72nd. Plus, I find with 72nd, I can just build it in a weekend. And I don't, sorry to anyone who loves them, I don't care enough about tanks to care whether or not it's released in a different scale.
I think anyone that prefers a scale other than 172nd for aircraft is an enemy of the state.
Correct.
Locked away with Airfix starter sets until their mind has been corrected.
Really?
We'll leave it to the task force.
We'll second that.
Fix them.
This is how cults start, Rorex. You just agreed. Let's go.
Yeah.
At least we're sort of nice. You can be any gender, any sexuality, any race, any religion. You just have to like 172nd.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough.
Utopia.
Yeah, I could imagine it now. World Peace, it gets a Nobel Peace Prize. 172nd scale.
You wait, it's coming. It's coming. We're starting the global revolution. It's like communism all over again, but better.
Oh dear.
You have 172nd scale stuff, Moss, right?
I say again, sorry.
You got 172nd scale stuff, right?
Oh, loads of it.
Yeah, see, there it is.
Then you shall be spared.
Your part.
Cool. That's fine. So when they come knocking on my doors, I could just say, "Look, I'm 172 scale." It's funny, actually. It's funny. It's funny actually because, yeah, I've this year we've not got a TV license. We've decided not to bother with a TV license because one, we don't watch anything on the BBC anymore. We only watch things that on the Apple TV box, YouTube.
Babe Station.
We don't. Babes? What? I tried to find that the other night, couldn't find it. Anyway, I thought it was about a pig. Yeah. So we don't watch any live telly. Everything is like we watch after the fact.
Streamed.
So we decided that we just started to get the letters coming through now saying if you don't buy a TV license, we're going to come knock on your door. So if I show them my stash of 172, they'll go, "You won't be needing a bloody TV license if you've got to build all them." Then they'll frig off and leave me alone. Is that what you reckon?
Yeah.
I had that same technique in the first house when I moved to Norwich. I had a model railway out in the spare room. So I'm going to leave it there because the TV licensing people want to come round. So I'll see if they're interested, and we'll just have a little session running trains, or they'll just go away.
That's right. And also the other thing is that I watched Black Belt Bar before we stopped getting the TV license. I watched Black Belt Barrister on YouTube because he asked the question: you can't watch live TV unless you've got a TV license, but what about live streams on YouTube? And he got an answer back saying that you can watch live streams without a TV license because YouTube is not a commercial TV channel. So you can watch live streams
now
on YouTube.
So if you're watching this and you don't have a TV license, you will be spared.
You will be spared.
Only if you have 1 in 70 second skill stuff.
Yes, only if you have 1 second. Yeah.
Only then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, get to the gulag.
I think the only thing I watched last year, real time, on TV, was when the Queen died. That's the honest truth. I think everybody was watching that when the Queen died. So
I was out getting absolutely mashed, to be honest, for a weekend.
I took the morning off work just to watch it.
Oh, it's incredible. With
the entire thing.
As soon as they dragged out that Nicholas Witchell from his grave, to start commentating on the royal family, you knew that she was dying. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Hobby Barn. Hobby Barn says when you're my age, 1 to 8 scale is preferred. But yeah, it would be because it's not small parts, is it? But saying that, I've been building that mini art 1/35th scale Jeep, and some of those parts are so small. Some of it, just honestly, it's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. Yeah,
I do find that sometimes it doesn't work. So I have just one O gauge railway thing, because it's my favorite one and it's cheap, and it's really good. It's really big. It's obviously a lot bigger than 00. However, because it's so big, the expectations are higher, and so the detail looks a bit lacking because it's such a big scale, and it's not necessarily as easy to get away with stuff. That's the problem I have with big aircraft. I don't mind 48 other than the space, but if it's a large kit, I don't think I'm going to do it justice.
No, I get that. I do. I've got that Hurricane Mark 1 in 1/24 scale, and I look at it sometimes. I think I want to have a go at it, and then I look at the 1/24 scale Spitfire that I've got on my shelf, and I think, do you know what, I'll have a go on it. But I look at it, I think, do you know, it's just too much going on in my life. I just need my business to just settle down. if I was going to do it, I'd have to book a month off and just concentrate on dry fitting it to make sure it fits, if you know what I mean.
So you mean waiting until you retire, basically?
Well, yeah, I just love
how I feel.
I was talking to, I can't think of the guy who designed the what was the one that came out last year? Which plane was it? The name one of the planes that came out last year. What was it called?
Stephen.
No.
Thomas.
What was it? No. What was not the Spitfire Mark 24, but the other plane that Airfix released last year?
Meteor.
A Biggie.
No. It was a Biggie. It wasn't big. It wasn't 1/24 scale. It was
Buccaneer.
Empire.
I think it was the Buccaneer. Yeah.
No, it wasn't the Buccaneer. I'm finding it now. Where is it to? Let's look at my shelf.
That's what sticks in my mind.
They had a Javelin as well.
That glass, you had loads of glass in it, so you could see all inside it. The Anson. I've just found it on my shelf. The Anson.
Oh, okay.
The Anson. I spoke to the designer of the Anson, and I said to him, I always find that after a month of building a kit, I get really, really bored. And he says, I'm the same. He said, I'm the same. You know, I like quick, nice projects that I can put together, spray, then move on to the next. Not to rush it. I want to do a good job. But if something takes more than about 4 weeks for me to build, I kind of end up forgetting about it.
And that's the thing with this Spitfire. I started the interior in last week's stream, put most of it together on Tam stream on Friday, and then it was sprayed at the weekend. So basically 3 days work, not even 3 days, just 3 sessions work, and I've got a reward, a visual reward as to what I've done. Yeah.
The Anson, that's the one. The 148 Anson. I think it looks like a beautiful kit, and I would definitely go into building it. But it's a case of me that, you know, if I've got to focus on it, I'm going to have to get on it, do it, because I know if it takes more than 4 weeks, it'll probably end up being on the shelf collecting dust, and before I've known it, I probably lost some bits for it, and it's got broken in, been in storage, you know, in the shelf. So,
and by that time, the 172nd Utopia will have started, and therefore you'll be banished for owning a 148th kit.
And also I'll be in prison because I've not got a TV license. You know what I mean? So
no, that's fine. That's fine as long as you worship 172nd. It's fine.
I love 172nd. I do. Like Celtic West says, you have to enjoy the journey. And I think that's going to be my next sticker, actually.
That sounds like a slogan from Virgin Trains or something.
Whatever scale you build, you've got to enjoy the journey. So, yeah, it's, Like, Matt, have you started your Hellcat yet?
No, not yet, sadly. I haven't had
Is
time.
that one that you've been worried about building because of the size and everything that goes with it?
I think I'd need, like, a proper sit-down, like, long session. I've actually bought something for it recently. I think I bought masks for it. So, I'm prepared for it.
But you just not got around to doing it.
But yeah, so it's going to be it is a little bit daunting in the sense that I've never built anything that big before, and also, you know, where am I going to put it? But so I'm looking forward to doing it. But I don't really have that much space at home. So what am I going to do with it afterwards as well? That's the question.
It is. Yeah, 124th is a big place. You need somewhere to put it.
Yeah, and I mean, I set up the funding thing for it back when it first was announced back in 2019, and it took like 4 years for people to, very thankfully they contributed to it. But I forgot that I'd even set that milestone up, and then they were like, "Oh, here you go do the thing," and I'm like, yes. Well, I will get around to it at some point, but it will be like a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. But it's going to look good when it's done. And everyone I've seen built, they've always looked phenomenal. You know what I mean? They've all looked good. And if I'm right in saying, it's not a bad kit to build either. There's a little few instances you've got to work at it a bit, but there's not a lot of issue on that Hellcat, is there?
No, I don't think so. I've heard different things about it. A few fit issues apparently, but I think if you just test your fit and take your time, you'll get where you need to go. I have looked at some aftermarket stuff for it as well, which I'm tempted to get.
Some resin and stuff like that for it.
Yeah, I found there's some 3D printable seats which have like the seat padding on it. So I was tempted to get that and make it look a little bit different to just the standard ones you can get off the shelf.
Yeah. What about you, John? You're building the Spitfire 124th. What are you going to do with your model when you finished it?
I don't know. I might. Excuse me. I'm still getting over a cold. I might. Maybe find, since I'm, working on the underside as much as the top.
Yeah,
I might try to find a case for it, and then, like a square case, and have the base of the case a mirror, right?
Yeah,
and just put it on there and put the case on it, because otherwise, you know, that so much work is going into it. I don't want it to get dusty like the rest of my models. So I don't know, maybe it'll go on. I don't know. I don't have any space here in my office / hobby room, but yeah, for me, I think 48th. That's for planes. That's usually where I at least try to start. And for armor, definitely 35. For cars, 24th, 25th. Ships, I only have one. I have one ship down in the basement. And it's 350th. But my hands aren't as as nimble as my fingers aren't as nimble as they used to be, and so I have a tough time with really small parts. So a 1/72nd scale, which is what this is that PBY. Fortunately, there's almost no small parts in this, so it's great. It's all just big parts. So this is just fantastic.
I think I get the impression when you get to the bigger scales, they can mold most of the small parts into the actual bits anyway. There's no need to go add in the extra. They can actually inject mold most of the stuff that you need. So there's no need to go add in the small parts. Yeah.
So, for instance, on the Spitfire, maybe it's the scale because it's 1/24th. There hasn't been anything like your typical Dragon 1/35th kit where they have you glue on, the bolt nut. It's totally ridiculous. Mini Art kind of does that as well. But the Airfix 1/24 Spitfire, they've done a great job of not giving you anything that is smaller than somebody who's mid-50s like me and has shaky hands can't handle. So it's just been fantastic. That 1/24 Spitfire is just it's great. It's probably like the best kit I've ever built.
Oh, fair play to you, mate. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. It gives me confidence. I've seen, there has been some YouTubers have had problems building it. But what I've seen so far, the actual results that people are getting from building that kit have been phenomenal. And as I said, it would for me, that's my compressor.
If I have a struggle with it, it's me. It's 9 out of 10 times it's not the engineering. Like for instance on the Spitfire, it's just because, or I'm using Hobby's tracks. I'm just struggling with it. It doesn't necessarily mean that the engineering is wrong. It's just, it's a human process, right?
I think I've just found the greatest symbol in an instruction booklet ever.
Oh yeah, they put you up.
What's that? What's that?
Cyclops likes this one.
What?
It's one eye on a booklet.
Yeah, read the manual.
Go to page 36, is it? Go to page 35.
One eye on a booklet. It's if your Cyclops jumped ahead.
Only then.
26.
That's funny.
It's
like the Sinbad movie, right?
It's supposed to be read instructions carefully, but why has it only got one eye?
It's because it's been scrutinized.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted this serious modeling discussion for Cyclops reading an instruction.
Comic relief. That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
Apparently, there's a lot of people want a bigger Huey. A 1/35th scale Chinook would be nice. At Captain, would Jenny Kirk be allowed in the coat if she was a 172er? Well, she's a railwayist, so she wouldn't be 172. She's OL gauge.
Yeah, she'd be 176 and a bit.
So she would be allowed in, I guess.
I'd allow it.
Yeah.
You think it's close enough?
Yeah,
okay,
it is enough.
It may be. It may be a harsh cult, but it is also democratic, apparently.
Yeah,
so,
democratic. Yeah. To be fair with Jenny, right? I don't get me wrong. What she did was quite nice. That thing where it went through the seasons. The only problem that we all noticed was it was going the wrong way around the track. It was going, wasn't it? It was going summer
backwards through
to
the
spring
seasons.
to winter to autumn to summer. To, it was
there
going
was
the wrong way round.
There was a video on Hornby's Instagram showing it running the correct way round. So somebody else must have noticed at some point and turned the train around.
Turn the train around, like in the actual footage on the actual show. It was. That's what I mean. Who's editing that show? Surely they should have noticed it was going the wrong way round. But I honestly, I can't fault the diorama she made.
I bet they literally just put it on to test it, and then they filmed it and went, "Oh well, yeah, that'll do." And then we got back and went, "Oh shit."
Yeah. She's got some ideas. Like I said, when I just felt that there was. And then they went off and they saw her there going through the woods and discussing, trying to get inspiration for her next diorama. It just, it's like, really, I'd rather see a little bit more Airfix, please, of Pramajit scratching his head, wondering how he's going to make that fit into the Buccaneer. And, and that's it. Like I said, I think it was 8 minutes of Airfix of actual... modeling, about actually going into the process of scale modeling.
It's not just that though, is it? It's the fact that there's all these people doing train stuff, but where's all the people doing dioramas for Airfix or just making a model that means something to them? It wouldn't be hard to get people who are doing modeling and film them, but instead it's like, oh look, more train people. Like show the people who are
that I was asked.
Mm-hmm.
You were asked, weren't you, when you decided? Yeah.
Well, I didn't decide. I think they made that decision. So, in essence, I had a conversation with the producers, and they were like, "So, what do you do? What content do you produce?" And then I told them about my channel, and they're like, "Oh, that's pretty impressive." And then, so what are you working on? I'm like, "Nothing. I don't have time to work on anything." I'm like, "Oh, well, so would you be available to do something for the show?" And I was like what? And they were like, something big, something like impressive. And I was like, well, I do have some projects, but I don't have the time. I can't guarantee that I will be able to do it and that I'll be free for filming. And then they never got back to me. So I guess they wanted something impressive, but I didn't have it. I didn't have what they wanted.
Had you been a child and written a letter to see Mr. Simon, you'd have been on the show.
He hasn't seen that episode yet. But yeah. Considering some of the stuff they put on the show, it's mad.
Still, well done on getting asked. That is very cool.
Yeah, honestly, congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I tried my best.
Now build your Hellcat in 10 minutes, or
could you imagine? I could probably do a very bad job of it in 10 minutes.
Oh, I want that so bad.
I know. Right, we're going to move on to a bit of scale model porn now. We're going to move on to this release.
Oh, you don't build it
going to be buying this, and I think the price is 140 quid for this when it comes out.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like 200 here. That's
$200.
That looks cool. I want one. What is it?
It's a belly flopper.
It's the Sky Crane, isn't it?
It just looks like Thunderbird 2, so I'll go for it. I'm rubbish with helicopters. I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Just quickly, Matt, if you had done that, you would have got locked in Simon Kohler's loft, apparently, according to Polygon models. You would have got locked in there.
Amazing.
I heard you're a keyboard warrior and you slap off my TT120.
Yeah.
I really want the TT120 to do well. I like it. I don't have an issue with the concept of it. It's just, there's just things.
But how dare you be honest?
Well, I didn't buy. I did buy it. I bought it myself. I didn't get given it. So,
to clarify, I do want Hornby TT120 to do well, but I want them to first put motors that actually work in all of their products. Because it's no good spending 200 quid on something that breaks after 6 months or a year or.
Yeah, true.
So
ICM, why the fuck have you put your logo over all these pictures?
They don't want someone stealing it.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's about getting your product out there. I'm looking at this now thinking I can't, it's ruining.
Yeah, you can't share that, right? You can't.
But that's not the
put
point.
it on Twitter or whatever because it's copyright.
But that's not the point. No, we are journalistic, right? We are showing and we are trying to promote them, and they've gone and done this. The silly twats.
I mean,
honestly.
to be
That's
fair,
why their name is on it.
promoting them. Yeah, exactly. Their name's still on it.
Yeah, I know, but look at it. But actually, to be fair, it's a bit smart they've done it.
Oh, bollocks.
What have you done?
Oh, what happened?
Fine. I just knocked the leg slightly. It's a bit fragile, which, considering the weight of this thing, is not ideal.
So basically, the engine was all open on the top of this Sky Crane, was it? Look at that engine at the top there. Look at that. That's hella, isn't it?
It's nice.
How do I start a GoFundMe for that?
It's
You need
Speak to Matt. Speak to Matt. He knows.
all the tooling, I think.
I did mine on
I mean, it just
Ko-fi.
looks
You
gorgeous.
set a milestone on Ko-fi, and then when people buy you a coffee, it goes towards it.
get
cool.
a sub story and make people buy it for you.
My aging grandmother's cat sitter. The last thing she wanted to see before she died.
Was you?
I'll tell you what, that
with a pit in it.
You building one.
I'll tell you what, this kit is absolutely phenomenal, doesn't it? Wow. Such a shame they've ruined it by putting the fucking logo over it. That's not the point. If you were a buyer, you would have want to, you would want to see what you get. Oh, that's nice.
If it was Airfix, you probably said they have not put enough logos on it.
No, behave. Oh, just because. I will confess, when I went to Bovington, I did buy some stuff that had Airfix written on it. Oh, look at that cockpit. Look at all the detail there. Quite basic inside, wasn't it? So, but yeah, look at that.
Oh my god, it's just like me, a bit basic.
They still use it a lot for firefighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just picks up the fire and flies it away.
In France and in Greece and Italy.
What a shame they've done that, ICM. Very nice though. Nice bit of kit that, isn't it? Very nice.
So I can have a man in the turret. Yay.
Yeah. I did buy myself a tin with a Spitfire on it. Oh, nothing in it, obviously.
You've
but
got them. I got them as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a tin. But also, I like this one because it's almost like one of those Russian dolls. So you get this. You seen that? You got one. There's one. There's one.
Oh no!
And there's another one. There's
it's
two.
Like magic.
There's two. There's number 3. And get ready. There's number 4. Wow.
What are you going to put inside the fourth one?
Oh.
Look at that. There you go. There's the Hurricane Mark 1. Then you have the British Army Infantry on that one, 130 or 172 scale. And then you have this one here, which is the Cromwell. And then that's the last one is with the Spitfire on it. So I bought that as well because it had, and it's a skill level 1. This one. So to put this together is skill level 1, all right?
Unless it was Ravel, then it's probably like skill level 75 for no reason.
I still got the other that Bearcat for a $5.
Oh, that is a good price.
That's a good price there. So yeah,
I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I might get the hobby.
Oh yeah, but I think that ICM is. I have to find a different picture scale. Of that. Surely somebody's got a better version of it than that. With some better pictures in.
Does the turret on the Defiant rotate when it's in? Wow, this is so
a turret fighter.
It's
it's
not glued in. You just place
I knew
it
in real life, but I meant like I didn't expect it to move on the model. That's bougie. I like this model. It is good.
I can't believe they put all these markings over it. Honestly, the idiots. You know, we're trying to promote this new kit, and they've gone and did that. So,
Do you know if you look
make
at,
sure there's a do not glue symbol on the lid. With all those tins, it will be a tier level 3 for Revel.
That's funny.
Yeah. For storage or some of the size, you can make it a transport mode again. Yeah, you could with that. It's massive. If I share this one out, let me just get the share a screen. Which one was it? The modeling news. I like the modeling news. There you go. That's the size of it. That's hella, isn't it? That's a hella bit of kit, that. So that's what's that? That's 70 centimeters. That's 3/4 of a meter long, isn't it? Crumbs. That's a big build, isn't it?
A big beastie.
2.5 feet or something. Yeah.
Amazing. That's going to be some kit to build.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
It just makes me realize how large my Boeing 707 is going to be when that's built. Seeing someone hold something that size. Jesus.
Yeah, what a biggie.
Thanks, Crazy Looking, for the £5 super chat. I'm enjoying my 48 scale Bearcat for the 48 Models for Heroes stream. Yes, I've got my Bearcat here.
Bearcat, never heard of it.
There you go.
Bearcat,
148 scale Bearcat that I'm going to be building for the Models for Heroes live stream. That will be my my build for that. And I've also got, I just arrived, my Tamiya pink colour to do the fab, to do the
Nice.
Thunderbird Rolls Royce. That's come as well. So
Nice.
Plastic Alchemist has got a 48 Tempest for the stream. That's cool. That'd be good to see you build that. So yeah, Italeri do a 1/35 shipping container. You could possibly incorporate that with the C854. There's things there.
No, I just lost a part. Oh no.
Yeah. Wow.
You've saved it for later.
Saved it for later.
Oh no.
Ah.
Maybe
That's
I
out of
got
the
some
kit,
spare
though.
parts.
Also,
Oh no.
while Matt's here, on Wednesday, myself and Matt have been invited to the Sprue Talk live stream. It's right to say you're in it, on it, is it, Matt?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Bit late now.
Bit late, yeah.
I just realised, yeah. So my time is at 6:15. So I'll be on at 6:15. And if there's any questions you want me to ask Airfix, obviously do not
Bearcat.
say,
Release the
what's your
Bearcat.
kit? Yeah, when's the
When
Bearcat
is
being
Bearcat?
released? When's this being released? They can't talk about product or line. If you've got any genuine questions that you would like me to ask Airfix in my 15-minute slot, let me know in the comments below, or email me, or get in touch with me on Discord or Instagram or wherever I'm on. Just come and talk to me and let me know some questions. I've got a couple of questions I'm going to ask them because it's the 10-year anniversary, or was it the 20-year anniversary of Operation Herrick? And they did a load of kits for that, and I'd like to know whether they intend to re-release them, at some point in that anniversary period, because they're doing the Dam Busters this year. Maybe they could re-release them, because I have got the what's it called, the quad bikes that they did. They did a release of quad bikes that I want to build. But I've got other questions as well that I'm going to ask. I've got some deep questions as well. I've got a couple of deep questions I'm going to ask Dale and the team as well about Airfix.
Can you ask why Dale's Airfix logo on his shirt is about twice the size of the other people's? Because like Luke's is big, but Dale's is massive. But when we had Matt, the designer, there, his was much smaller. So is this sort of a ranking system?
I think it is. I think the bigger the Airfix logo, the more you kiss their feet.
I think it's compensating for something.
I was going to say, that's a very different conversation.
Different scale. They're different scales of people.
Are they all 1 in 70 seconds? Otherwise, they're
They're not allowed.
coming with us.
Yeah.
I've never noticed his logo bigger than anybody else's.
Bigger than his head. He was just walking around dressed as a giant Airfix logo.
Would it be funny if, like, every time we see him, the logo just gets bigger? Like every time, if you found photos of him in chronological order from the first day he started working at Airfix, like at swap meets or exhibitions or on TV shows, like it's like a tiny little like kin-sized one, and then now it's like the size of his whole torso. That would be like fun, wouldn't it? I bet someone go and find all the pictures of Dale and see how big his Airfix logo is.
Well, Simon's blown out.
Such a euphemism.
Now you definitely should ask it. Now you definitely should ask that question, because otherwise...
Yeah, okay, I'll ask him why he's got a bigger logo on his T-shirt than everybody else.
It's the stuff we need to know.
It is. Actually,
More
Matt,
important than that Bearcat.
You could ask him that.
I probably will forget.
Conveniently, yeah.
I've only got 15 minutes. I've got to make them count.
Yeah, that's right. You want to start talking about the TT120 to them? That would be funny.
Oh, yeah, no, they'll be like, this has nothing to do with us.
Can you buy the brand from Hornby and release
some,
it?
120 scale accessories, though. That'd be cool.
Just
I
buy
want
the
them
brand.
I want them to. I'm going to wear my Airfix 124 scale shirt that night and say, look, if you want one, get Dale to make one, because he's banned me from making it. Have you worn yours yet, Matt?
My what?
Your 124th Airfix T-shirt.
Have I got one?
Yeah, I gave you one.
Oh, yeah.
So you haven't worn it yet.
It's still in my bag.
Still in the bag.
Still in the bag. I'm terrible at unpacking. I've discussed this.
Oh, hilarious.
That's the real reason he didn't want to go on the Hornby show, because he thought the camera crew would turn up and be like, "Oh, have you just moved in?" No, I moved in years ago. I just never unpacked.
Just unpacked, yeah. You never know when you'll bug out.
I've got an idea for a tattoo with Airfix logo, but I haven't done it yet, just in case it's copyright.
There's not a lot they can do when you tattoo something to yourself.
Yeah, if it's on your skin, I would argue that what are they going to do? Cut your skin off?
Tell him it's a birthmark.
I mean, short of you getting "fuck Airfix" tattooed on yourself, I don't think they're going to mind.
Man, if that was on your ass cheek, it wouldn't really matter. If it was on your forehead, then maybe they just wouldn't invite you to things anymore.
That would be funny, wouldn't it? Get an Airfix. No, I don't want an Airfix. I don't want the logo as such. I want a box art as a tattoo.
Oh,
and then the model in front of it spraying. That's the picture that I want on me. But I could just have, because I've got the bird on my back, and have to where its crow's feet are, or his feet are. I could have it holding a model kit, couldn't I, of a Bearcat by Monogram.
With the Monogram logo, or not?
Yeah. Yeah, then I'd have to. Then they'll bring it out, and I'll have to have them. But nah, I do like that.
If Airfix did release a Bearcat, you could tattoo the barcode of it onto you, so that wherever you go,
Yeah,
you
or the
scan
number.
Bearcat.
Or the number.
We're not going to see a Bearcat from Airfix. I promise you. It is not even in their view. It's not even in their view. I think there must be 100 other kits they'll want to do first than a bloody Bearcat, I can assure you.
Especially because we give them so much free promotion yelling Bearcat from Airfix all the time.
Right.
And
I'm
also,
32
if they...
years young, I've got plenty of time for them to get through those 100 kits.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's a good question. Okay, would Airfix consider or be able to make buildings, hangars, control towers, etc., and vehicles, Bowsers, fire engines, crew buses, etc., in the same scale as the aircraft, etc., same for armor?
They have done before.
They have, haven't they? Yeah.
They've done. They haven't done a full hangar, but they did like a
there is
diorama for. Oh, is there?
I think there is. I saw one.
I know there's like the
there's the control tower, isn't there? There's the control tower.
I got a control tower at least, and I saw the hanger somewhere in 1/72 scale, but it was a little bit too expensive. The one that was selling it, so.
I didn't know they did a hanger. I know they did the like air raid, not the air raid thing, the like mound things they have around aircraft. I don't know the name of them, whatever.
The mound things.
Yeah, sure.
The control tower is 176 apparently. And and also, they've got that cardboard, haven't they? The actual number of the control tower is actually like a cardboard that you.
The control tower. Oh, the number. Yeah, the number is in cardboard, and the control tower itself is just plastic.
Oh, that's a great question, Taggers. That is a great question. Is there a planned consideration into modernising the current flying hour systems so it can be all redeemed digitally? That is a good question.
I think they were asked that a few years ago.
They did, didn't they? And they said they couldn't.
Said they wouldn't change it at the moment, probably because they haven't got the. I think the issue is, what do you do with all the people who've got like old paper copies?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think with the amount of Airfix flying hours, because they say that they still accept them from any flying hour that's ever existed.
Yeah,
they accept it. So then you're going to have 2 different systems running simultaneously.
I think they'll get rid of the Airfix hours, and what they'll do is what I reckon they'll do. This is why they brought in the Hornby Club, where you get your points. For every £1 you get a point. I think that's where they're going to move it to. So the more you buy online, you see what I mean, and then maybe
I think that would be a huge
flying hours.
That would be a huge mistake, because a lot of people are going to buy these kits physically in shops.
Yeah,
and you're restricting. Let's face it, it's basically a marketing thing for the Airfix Club. And if you, let's say you go into a supermarket at Christmas time and you buy yourself a kit and it's got a little flying hour on it, you think, oh, what's this? And you look it up. Well, you're now incentivized to go and buy things from the Airfix website. They get that money directly, no matter where they sell that kit to. They might end up with somebody purchasing a kit online. Whereas if you only have it as an online thing, a lot of the people who will probably just never think of going straight to Airfix, they'll just buy it in a model shop or something, you're missing out on that potential trade. It certainly worked on me, because I have a lot of flying hours, so I will be going to Airfix directly. Because of that, I've become a member this year.
Yeah,
so it'd be really difficult to replace that electronic only.
I feel like a hybrid system, though, could work well.
I do definitely think they need to do something.
Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah. Just trying to work my head around it, really.
What I want to see is digital downloads of STL files.
Well, they promised me that with the Humbrol printer, and that never happened.
Not yet.
What is it, to print yourself a new printer?
Yeah. To print myself a logo to put on anything to make it Humbrol, I think.
If Beacon Models get around to all the things that they want to do, then they're pretty much going to nip that in the bud, and Airfix will be playing catch up rather than being like the trailblazers.
Yeah,
because everyone else will have had the same ideas but implemented it first. And then they'll be going, well, Beacon Models have got this website where if you pay them a couple of quid, you get a download. I don't know, some RAF vehicles to go with your model kits, and you can rescale them to any size. So why wouldn't I go to Beacon Models over Airfix or that sort of thing? Get something for not much, and it also keeps their costs down, because it doesn't cost much to create an STL file and then post it on a website.
They just end up on the dark web. Free STL files for everyone.
I noticed that Bulldog Models, who was a sponsor of this channel not so long ago, he's now doing a lot for them, isn't he, for Beacon Models?
Yeah, he's selling off their STL files, but actual physical samples.
Yeah. God, busy tonight. Yeah, I get that. Because I've got the kit here. I haven't done an unboxing of it yet. With the what's it called? The
Spitfire and 109 dogfight set.
Yeah, with the 3D printed stuff that comes with it.
Mine. I've just done my unboxing, so it's currently in the edit phase.
It's in the list.
Got to do that this week. Actually, I've got 8 kits to review this week. I've got to find time to do them. We've got to do something with them, definitely. Here you go. Let's have a look at that. Oh, spoke with Airfix. Because they chased me from Mr. Park. They told me the parts department has 500 emails since Christmas. Quality problems? Yeah, I don't know. It depends on which it is. If it's those starter sets that with Aldi and Lidl, that's going to. I think sadly that's gone a bit bad for them, isn't it, Matt?
I think they tried to produce. Well, the factory in India tried to produce a lot of models in a short amount of time, and a lot of quality control issues have snuck in the meantime.
Yeah.
With Airfix, though, it could also be very old kits. You know, the only time I've ever contacted for spares was a kit that I'd had sitting around for about 5 years, and I think I bought it when it had been out for about 5 years. They sent me the piece. It took a little while, but they sent me the piece, so it was fine. But
I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with Airfix customer support. I think they're amazing.
Because they know your name.
Do you reckon that's what it is?
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell, again.
There's one lady up there that I chat to quite a bit, and if I've got a problem, I email her. But if I'm actually talking directly, like for when I want to pay for a model, and I get whoever's on there, they'd be absolutely brilliant. Help me out, got my points together. You know, it's a good thing. I think their customer service has got better, and that's one of the questions I'm going to ask: is what do you think's improved over the last 10 years at Airfix? I'm going to ask Airfix what they think they've improved on the most in the last 10 years. So don't ask that question, Max. I've already asked it. All right, so I'm one before you. I think Beacon Models have got some great ideas. I just feel that they just haven't got the clout behind them to actually develop as quickly as they would like to.
Yeah, not yet. I think give them some time and they'll make a name for themselves. It's all about building reputation, isn't it?
Yeah. And still, a lot of people did snigger at the fact it's a 1:144 scale, isn't it? It's a very small scale. Do they think about going into the bigger scales?
They have considered
you've had more chat with Beacon than what I've had anyway.
Yeah, I got inside comms. He has thought about going to bigger scales, but I think they want to do a range of 144th scale stuff to start with. So they're calling it's the Few is what they're calling it. So it's sort of Battle of Britain based range at the moment. So they've started off with the Spitfire and the 109. Then they want to move on to other aircraft like the Hurricane, the Defiant, Junkers 87, Heinkel 111. You know, the sort of big hitters from the Battle of Britain. And then potentially there was whispers of moving into bigger scales, but obviously these are years in development. But they would, as I'm led to believe, be tempted to do less popular subjects in the bigger scales. So they're not going to bother doing another Spitfire. They'd move on and do, I don't know, something bizarre that hasn't been done, or something that's not been done for a very long time.
Westland Lysander.
Yeah, like a Lysander, for example.
Well, that would be good, actually. That would be good. But they've also got the experience of being part of Wings, haven't they?
Yeah, because they were the designers for that back in the day.
So they were English. Are they based in the UK?
They're UK based.
So did they ever tell you why Wingnut went bust?
I never asked, to be honest.
No.
I don't know. I think he probably might have mentioned some things, but he's probably not really at liberty to discuss that.
I wonder what really genuinely happened to all their tooling.
Didn't Border Models take some of them?
Did they?
I know they took. Who was it who developed the Lancaster?
Border Models.
Did they develop it? Because I was under the impression that someone else, or was it Wingnut, had developed the Lancaster, and then Border took it off of their hands when they didn't be closed up shop. I might be wrong. I might be just dreaming that.
It'd be interesting.
I think Nigel might have mentioned that 30-second Lancaster is from a wings tooling or whatever, because he's mentioned that he wished the instructions were wingnut wings, but the the kit itself. So I think you're right there, Matt.
Yeah.
See, I do pay attention.
You do pay attention. I know Maine did that. Bren says Maine did the fucker, and they still release it now, don't they, as their own? It'd be interesting to see what happens, because if they because Wingnut Wings, what were the prices of them? Like 300 quid plus, weren't they, for a model kit? It was mega money, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they were big boy toys, absolutely.
Yeah.
What scale was the Lancaster? Was it 132?
32 scale, yeah, 132.
Tom Greigert's just done one, hasn't he? Which I've not had a chance to look at that video yet, but he's just done one.
Yeah, 18 months in the process, wasn't it?
Insane, and then it's like a 20-minute video. That would be like, if I did that, it'd be like a 20-part series, and it would be like 3 hours. If you put it all together.
He's clever, isn't he? How he does all that stop motion animation.
I don't know how he manages to keep track of what he's done.
Right. Yeah, it's.
And how does he keep the parts in the same place? Like he does. It's like he paints a part and then puts it back in exactly the same place for the shot. So I don't know how he does that.
I don't. He must do that for a living. That must be his.
Well, he's gained 100,000 subscribers, hasn't he, in the space of so many years? He's doing all right, isn't he?
Not only is he a talented modeler, but he's also a very talented videographer.
Mm. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it just that was it. Lancaster 132 scale, wasn't it?
Yep.
Let's have a look.
Beautiful.
Lancaster 132 scale, and it was by Border Models, wasn't it? How much that cost?
Arm and leg.
458 pounds.
That seems reasonable. 500 quid for a...
Oh, that's right. You could
not even.
It's like about $600 here.
You can buy the nose section for 120 quid, called Fields of Glory.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, I saw that and thought, like, to anyone that makes models based on airfields, like air museums, modern museums, having just the nose of an aircraft in a big scale is actually a really good idea. Not that there's that many people that just want to make a model of a nose, I guess.
Wow.
Don't know.
Just look at the detail there. Crumbs. God, look at that.
It's just crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Rub the lotion on the skin. I tell you what, mate, that's incredible. And it's not accurate though, is it? It's the wrong turret. Somebody's gonna have to mention it, haven't they? It's the wrong one.
I think you'll find that tiny little bit of piping doesn't quite go there. It should be about 2 millimeters to the left.
and that's, there shouldn't be a recess line there. It should have been a raised panel line at that point. But it comes with it all, doesn't it? It comes with all the brass, all the photo etch, everything, doesn't it? This kit. Look at that. It is phenomenal, isn't it? Absolutely phenomenal. God, look at that. I want to see what the engines look like. Oh, look at that for a picture. That's all the interior there, isn't it?
Is that all the ribs of the wings and that?
Yeah.
Amazing.
A lot of pictures here. Oh, wonder how many sprues it was. Who's building one at the moment? Nigel is.
Yeah.
Really?
How many episodes? In the 30s or something. It's extremely thorough. So I think he got a little sidetracked maybe you finish it, but he got a little sidetracked on the Spitfire, which is great.
Yeah. Just look at the hand. See the way the hand's got the on one of the wing sections there.
Look at those tires. That's impressive, isn't it?
Look at the size of that, man. Oh, look at that. Look at all the oh wow. Can you see that? Look at all the stress marks in the wing. You know, 600 quid. I don't think they sold many for that price because a lot of modelers wouldn't have bought it, would they?
Yeah, that's like a bucket list kit, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the internal detail there. Look at all that. Shite. Can I get bigger or not? Oh, yeah, go bigger. There you go. That's better. Wow. Look at all the detail.
You can also get, if you like taking up all of your space, the Antonov AN225 in 70 seconds.
No, really?
Yeah, if you want it.
And there's that C5 Galaxy that's come out in 170 seconds as well.
Hang on, I'll send you if I can find it.
Yeah, someone was selling that one, that Galaxy.
Cool, you could be there for ages. I'm not being funny here, but look at the flash on that seat, man. Look at that flash.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. You're paying 600 quid and you got extra plastic like that in the kit.
It sounds like value for money.
Yeah.
It sounds like,
Great. Great for scratch building.
Yeah. Crumbs. Look at that all put together there. Honestly. Because it does come with glass, doesn't it, as well? So you can, in theory, have it so that you've got one side of the perspex, isn't it? So you can see
Does
inside.
it come with figures?
Does it come with figures? I don't know.
There's figures on the box.
Oh yeah, that's it. Then it's unbuildable without the figures.
I know that's false advertising. That
It is, yeah.
So the Antonov AN225 in 170 second is nearly 600 quid.
Really?
is that the big 6-engine one?
Yeah. The big one.
The one that doesn't exist anymore.
975 plastic parts, reinforced fiberglass fuselage and wing.
What?
Fiberglass fuselage.
Wow.
They really went go big or go home, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you get it in 3 decal schemes, so you could buy 3 of them if you wanted.
Fine, I don't need a car anymore. I'll just buy that.
Put some engines in there and you can fly yourself to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or some ropes and then use it as a kite.
It's going to be a bit late to work today. I need to build my 225.
You better be quick. There's only one in stock at Hannon's.
Whoa, I'll buy it now.
You found it?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, no clear fuselage. That's the Hong Kong models kit. Ah, okay. I do apologise. Yeah.
My friend's got that. He's literally kept it as an investment.
I'd love to see this. X Wingnut Wings. So it is X Wingnut Wings then. So did Wingnut Wings release it first, or they never got round to releasing it? And
I don't think they got round to releasing it. I think it was the toolings had been made, but then they stopped being in trading. Yeah.
That's a shame. That's what probably put them under.
Maybe.
I wonder how many sprues there are in that kit. I have to watch Nigel's video again. Yeah, crumbs. And just think they were shot out of the sky so easily as well, weren't they?
Well, if you send a plastic model against an enemy,
just shut your face. Honestly, you carry on drinking your chamomile tea. Honestly, you're like a wench. You are. You really are.
Why? Thank you.
You Karen. Oh dear. It's a hell of a kit though, mine. Look at that. What a shame, eh? Oh, no more Wingnut Wings. Never released. Oh, here he goes. Oops, hang on, I missed that. Let's go back here. Never released. Tooling not brought back, but some discussion over payments and therefore BM released it. Okay, so Border Models probably bought it. Yeah, story goes they could not pay the tooling developer anymore, so BM bought it.
Wow.
Wasn't it Silence of the Lambs? What was it called? Who was the director of Lord of the Rings? That's what it was, wasn't it? Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs. To Lord
Peter
of the Rings.
Jackson.
I know. It's quite a leap, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. I was. Yeah, I get that.
Silence of the Lambs, the Two Towers.
Yeah. Frodo's Revenge.
The Return of the Lamb.
All right.
To be fair, I imagine a lot of lambs were silenced during the Lord of the Rings. So
I put the link to the Antonov as well in the chat if you want to.
Oh, is that in scale mates?
That must be crazy.
One with scale mates, one Tanners. Yeah, it looks just incredible.
Wow.
This is why I need to get a sugar daddy so he can buy me them.
You'd need a conservatory just to put the Antonov in full daylight.
But if I had a sugar daddy, I'd have a conservatory, wouldn't I? Let's be honest. So that wouldn't be a problem.
I think you're aiming too low, to be honest, Lexi.
You start low. You just don't go straight in going, buy me a house. You say, buy me a £600 model.
But it is 1 true scale.
Yeah.
1/72.
It's the only acceptable way to build it.
how big is it?
Yeah.
Like, dimensionally?
Nobody's knocking on your door.
Big enough.
Indeed,
The right
because
size.
the model is in front of it. Nobody can enter.
I'm trying to find that out for you, Matt. I'm just looking it up.
Oh, God.
Right, let's add that to shopping cart.
It's
There we go.
approximately it's 116 centimeters long and 122 centimeters wingspan when
God,
completed.
it's like nearly as tall as me. That's crazy.
Well,
Incredible.
Does it come with its own delivery van?
Am I right in saying now that that's it? There'll never be another one because they've killed it in the
They
Ukraine.
killed it. The Russians killed it.
They have.
Zelensky said he
Well,
wants to
they have
make one. They had a.
Yeah, they have a
Holland.
second fuselage. And,
Yeah, so-
and the wings are still okay, and the tail is also still okay.
Most of the
They
engines
show-
are fine, so they
Yeah,
could.
so
They could
They
replace
said
it.
they want to remake it, but made it modern avionics, so like full glass cockpit and everything, as a symbol of Ukrainian independence when
Because it's
Russia
famous also
loses.
When somebody bumps Putin off.
Richard Branson was working on getting that financed, right?
I don't know that, but
I think he
that
was.
would be good.
So what was the story behind it then? So they designed it, built it, and then decided they weren't going to release it as
They designed it for the carrying of the Russian space shuttle to transport it from one base to the other. Then eventually that program got cancelled, and it was oversized load carrier thingy. And previously it was Russian, but when the Soviet Union fell apart, it became part of Ukrainian stuff, and they basically still use it for the Antonov transport company to transport all oversized stuff all over the world. So it was also used with emergency relief stuff when there was a big flood somewhere and oversized generators needed to be transported or other aid.
What I want to know is why is it 975 plastic parts?
Well, because 974 wasn't quite enough.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was missing a wheel.
Yeah,
No,
it's all
what I
landing
mean is,
gear.
I'm not being funny here. The border models ones had how many parts? 600 parts, yeah?
Don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the Antonov.
Oh.
Just wondering
As you
why
should.
it just doesn't make sense because the amount that goes into a Lancaster is nothing on this thing because basically all it is a shell with.
Moz, you realise what you're going to have to do, don't you?
I have to buy it, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
and
then
have a
we'll
look.
know.
Yeah. What part was
How many How many people do you see on YouTube making unboxings of a 975 part Antonov M225?
Building it.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd get your money back off of that though.
Like
that would have to be a 2 million view video, wouldn't it?
More than that.
You'd have no competition. You'd own the market.
Yeah.
Like
Somebody
my
must
videos are
have
long
done a
enough.
video on that. Somebody must
The
have done a video on that.
My videos are long enough. They're like 45 minutes, and the unboxing of that bloody thing would take an hour.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Unboxing part 1, Sprue's A to Z.
Yeah. And then unboxing the other part, Sprue AA to ZZ.
Imagine losing a part.
Yeah, a crucial part, like the cockpit glass.
Oh. Or a wheel. We're missing a wheel.
Well, that's still underneath it, but cockpit glass is a bit difficult.
I'll tell you, I'll do a GoFundMe, all right, to buy this kit, all right? I'll do a GoFundMe. Help me buy this Models Vit Giant 7206.
Yeah, there are a few people, not that many, but there are a few that have done some videos. Not many in English.
Yeah.
And one of them's a shop, so that doesn't count.
Oh. I'll tell you what, if I see what my accountant says.
It's mad. Like that's literally a month's rent. It's actually mad.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to say that's a new boiler. You know, that's a lot of money.
I like Morrowind's question. How many wheels on the plane? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Enough.
It's a big girl. It needs plenty of support.
It freaking does.
I really wanted to see it because when I started getting more interested in aircraft is after I moved out of London, so I didn't get to see things flying over anymore. It wasn't easily accessible to get to Heathrow, and it flew to Heathrow not that long before the war. If I was more interested, if I was committed enough, I would have gone to see it. And now I know that, of course, it possibly won't be back in the air. Maybe, hopefully, but might not be. I think that's one I'm going to regret.
Yeah.
I still get excited when I see a 747
as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, I don't know if I want to buy it now. I'll have to think on it.
Right, everyone,
Keep
quit.
it as-
Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
Keep it as a dream.
Yeah.
His name was also a dream. So
Yeah. Hey, Red Hot Reactions is in. Hello, Steve. You alright, mate? Nice seeing you, my friend. I double dog dare someone to count all the rivets.
7,008. Oh, I lost count.
I just trust that they've done it right.
Do I buy it?
You should buy it, but
Yeah,
as
you
a
should.
gift to Sully to make it as it was after it was
Oh
attacked.
my god, yeah.
oh no. So you only need to wing and tail.
And the rest of it just as debris.
That's what I could do, actually. I could just buy it and then pretend to build it and just smash it up and say, here you go, this is the Ukrainian version.
Well, it's the only version.
I think it's a bit insensitive actually for even to
It is
Yeah.
a bit insensitive. It is a bit. I do apologise.
It
Make
would
a
look
great
really
diorama, though.
Yeah, it would,
But
it
on
would
the-
look
on
really
the-
cool on a flying stand, though. I think like it's just so massive. It would just look ridiculous. I wonder if my cat would fit inside it.
Probably a few cats will fit inside it.
the
It's
length
just
of
the
the
wheels, isn't it?
length of the fuselage. You could get my little pit special, my smallest 72nd aircraft. You could just line them all up.
Just ring my mum and be like, Mum, I need £600. Why? Oh, I just need a new cat toy. What is it? It's a model kit that I'm going to fit the cat inside.
Wow, they're dismantling it at the moment, but it had to stop because of an unexploded missile in the tail. Wow.
Ooh.
I would buy it as a Mojo build, I reckon.
Mojo.
A Mojo build.
Well,
Honestly.
how long do you need before you got fed up with a build normally, Moss? How long will it take?
About 3.5
Yeah.
weeks.
Do you think that you can finish that one in 2.5 weeks?
I can't buy
Like
it.
1
no.
year.
If I
Yeah.
bought that, my wife would rip me a new arsehole. She really would.
Ask if it can.
Probably it's okay because if she kicks you out, you can live in it.
Yeah.
Ask if it can go in the next inspiration box.
There's a deep loader outside with a box on it. It says Moss. What's in it? Yeah.
Looks like the kit market does a lot of go big or go home releases nowadays to get the brand attention. Well, that's exactly what Airfix did with the Hellcat. They released the Hellcat to say, go on, this is what we're going to be producing from now on. And ever since then, they've never looked back. But how the hell did that Vulcan end up in the top 10 of scale models ever, or models or hobby products?
Hornby
how
product.
that got? No, never right. I understand why the Hellcat did, but the Spitfire didn't. Nah, brush away, mate, brush away. You're going to get a load of keyboard warriors onto it and say, no, that was bollocks. We want a new top 10.
Are we watching that today after this?
I hope so.
Look at that. That's the cheap version. The other
That
one
was fun last week.
on top.
Yeah, which they haven't released yet, but yes, they are doing it with the shuttle on top as well.
Really? How much is that going to cost them?
Well, extra shuttle.
How many extra parts is that?
I bet they wouldn't even bother. They'll just get like a Challenger or something, or a Columbia, and then put that on top of it, and then add the extra engine on the back, and it'd be exactly the same, wouldn't it? Because that's what they did. They just nicked the Challenger design, didn't they?
Yeah, but the nose is a little bit different, and yeah, I don't know.
But it was they basically they saw the Challenger, which was the first one, wasn't it? The Challenger, wasn't it? Was the first one.
Enterprise was
and then they actually copied it. They had to paint the design.
Yeah, the Enterprise.
Enterprise was the first one because that one didn't go into space, I think.
Yeah, but no, they stole the. I thought they stole the plans for the Challenger one.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
They stole a lot of things from the.
Oh my God, you guys believe in space?
Hey,
no.
There's not enough space in it at the moment anyway. We need more space in scale modeling, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
anyway,
because of the size.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight on the Airfix and Chill. I'm back on Wednesday on Airfix's channel at 6:00. So is Matt. He's also on.
Hello.
What time are you on again, Matt?
I think I'm the last one on at 7:00.
7:00 you're on, are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, how can that be? It's only running 6 till 7.
I don't know. That's the time he sent me.
Is it? Right, okay. I know Gary's on as well.
Maybe they
Stuff
really
on
wanted
there.
to squeeze some extra people in.
Yeah.
I would just like to, before we go, just quickly remind taggers in chat that I'm sending a bill for a fairy swordfish to him because he peer pressured me. By peer pressure, it's the same as with the Spitfire being silver. He just said, "Why don't you buy this?" or "Why don't you have this?" He just mentioned one, and I went out and bought one, and now I'm £16 worse off. So I'm sending you the bill, taggers.
Fair enough. We will be, after this is finished, we're going to jump on Lexi's Discord to watch the next episode of the model show, Hornby Model Show, which would be good. What link has you put on there?
That's my TT video link.
Your TT 120 video. So if you go in and watch that this week,
and watch the dramas about it.
Watch the drama, that'll be good. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed tonight's chat. I was only wondering, do you reckon Airfix, any other people from Hornby actually watch this show, or are we just like crap to them?
Sometimes, maybe. I bet they do sometimes.
I know Dale watches it occasionally because he lurks in the background, doesn't he? But it'd be interesting to see what what they've brought out of this one tonight. You're going on about TT120, and that's quite funny, that. If they're watching that going, we didn't realise it was only 10 in the pack, we should have had 12, or it doesn't make a complete circle. That's phenomenal, that is. All that money, and they can't even get the track right. It's shocking. But all I'm going to say is that there's definitely, there's those, you can't judge the Hornby brand by one brand, if you know what I mean. I think Airfix have got themselves pretty much onto a good thing. As I said, I think Airfix are going to be the main money maker. I think Hornby not so long in the distant future. and I'm enjoying the ride because I've been banging on about Airfix for years now, haven't I? I've been there, their trumpet.
Good little fanboy.
Little fanboy, yeah, I am. As I say, if you've got Airfix on it, I'll buy it. Definitely. Yeah, I even bought a chocolate bar at Bovington because I had a tank on it. I don't know what done with the paperwork. But
The Cadbury one.
Yeah, the Cadbury one. Yeah, there
I
it
bought
is.
that as well. And then I realized the price after I bought it, and I was like, holy shit.
They just stuck it on top of it, haven't they? That's all they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine as well.
It would be better though if they brought out a Moz 6510 chocolate bar, wouldn't it? Imagine that, eh? Imagine that you put out a chocolate bar with Moz 6510 on it. You would buy it, wouldn't you?
I mean, it's chocolate. Yeah.
So remember, I'll just put it back up here. If you want to link it again quickly, Lexi, your Discord, and we'll nip over there and we'll watch the model show on Discord because we will get copyrighted on here, obviously. So 60510 pieces of chocolate.
Oh my god!
Thanks all for watching. Thank you all. Fenris, you've been quiet tonight, mate. Where have you been?
I've been having to mute myself on and off because my 4-year-old decides she does not want to nap and keeps screaming. And I share a wall with the nursery.
I believe if you put, I think it's Calpo in this country, that normally works to get kids to sleep. Give them half a bottle of Calpo, you know what I mean?
Been there twice over, Fenris. I get it.
Yeah. Anyone can join the Discord chat. If you go into her chat room and go down to, what's it called again? General live chat, is it, Lexi?
There's like a modeling voice chat. Just join that.
A modeling voice chat. You'll see our names in there, and so you can go over there and watch it. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you all everyone here in the chat themselves. Thank you, John, Matt, Captain VFC, Fenris, Rorex, and Lexi and John. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you next Monday. Have a good weekend, or good week, I should say. Speak to you all soon. Cheers all.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. Bye.